In the vast depths of the Grand Canyon, where the wind sculpts the rocks and time is measured in eons, sovereignty is a mantle contested with each sunrise. It is in this imposing setting that a saga of power and cunning unfolds, an alliance forged in necessity between two winged titans, the bald eagle, symbol of strength and majesty, and the peregrine falcon, the very essence of speed. Their territories, once the source of rivalry, now find themselves under the shadow of an unexpected threat, the golden eagle, a roaming predator of colossal proportions, determined to redefine the hierarchy of the sky. This is the story of how two ancient rivals, driven by the survival of their domains and their families, united to confront a common enemy, rewriting the laws of nature with the strength of their unlikely partnership.
If you enjoy this type of story, please like and subscribe to the channel to help me bring you more stories like this. That said, let's get straight to the video. The scorching sun of the canyon had barely reached its zenith when the shadow of the golden eagle covered the slopes, a grim omen for the nests of the bald eagle and the peregrine falcon. The bald eagle, with its imposing wingspan and penetrating gaze, was the first to sense the invasion, an intruder challenging its ancestral sovereignty. Its alarm cries echoed through the rocky gorges, alerting not only its own offspring, but also the peregrine falcon, which until then had considered the bald eagle its main competitor for resources. The grandeur of the new predator was undeniable, an adversary that surpassed in size and strength any challenge they had ever faced individually. The perception of the threat momentarily united what centuries of rivalry had separated. Both knew that protecting their territories, and more importantly, their future generations, would require an unprecedented maneuver.
The alliance, though tense, began to take shape with a tacit recognition of their complementary abilities. The bald eagle, with its muscular mass and powerful talons, was the brute force needed for direct confrontation, capable of absorbing blows and wearing down the giant. Its strategy would be that of an aerial anchor, a living shield that would hold the golden eagle's attention, exposing its flanks. The peregrine falcon, in turn, represented agility and surgical precision. With its air-shattering diving speed and its ability to maneuver in tight spaces, it would be the spearhead, delivering quick and disruptive attacks, targeting vital points of the invader. Communication between them, previously limited to territorial warnings, transformed into an aerial ballet of signals and movements, where each dodge and each attack had a strategic purpose. The first skirmish was a brutal test for the newly formed coalition. The Golden Eagle, accustomed to dominating the skies with its solitary grandeur, underestimated the combined resistance. The bald eagle charged forward, its robust body colliding with the invader in an explosion of feathers and fury. The impact reverberated through the mountains as the two birds locked in a swirling combat, talons clashing and beaks searching for vulnerabilities. As the struggle of forces unfolded, the peregrine falcon surged forward like lightning, cutting through the air at high speed to strike the golden eagle's rear, diverting its attention and disrupting its balance. The giant, confused and angered by the persistence of its attackers, realized that the battle would not be an easy victory, but rather an exhausting clash against an unexpectedly effective partnership.
The battle reached its climax when the Golden Eagle, recovering from its initial surprise, launched a fierce counterattack, attempting to use its superior strength to crush the bald eagle against the sandstone walls of the canyon. The air thinned under the frantic beating of gigantic wings, and the sound of impacts echoed like thunder in the deep crevices. The bald eagle, though exhausted from the effort of maintaining the frontal clash, stood firm, locking its talons into those of the invader in a duel of pure endurance. It knew its role was to serve as a target and distraction, allowing the true danger to remain invisible to the giant's eyes. Every second the bald eagle resisted was a precious opportunity for its smaller ally, which circled the rising thermal currents, awaiting the precise moment when the enemy's guard faltered under the weight of fatigue.
The peregrine falcon,
hovering at an altitude almost invisible to the naked eye, began its ballistic dive, closing its wings to minimize resistance and transform its body into a living projectile. Its speed was such that the sound of the wind cutting through it reached the combatants even before impact. Like a precise arrow, it struck the golden eagle's wing joints, delivering precise blows that limited its range of movement. The tactic was one of extreme attrition. While the bald eagle prevented escape and heavy counterattacks, the peregrine falcon carried out successive hit-and-run attacks, leaving the invader disoriented and unable to focus on a single aggressor. The giant, which had previously flown with the arrogance of one without rivals, now found itself surrounded by a cooperative combat system that allowed no openings for retaliation.
Sensing the impeccable coordination between the two defenders, the golden eagle began to show signs of retreat, realizing that the cost of conquering that territory would be too high. Blood pulsed in the temples of the fighting birds, and physical exhaustion threatened to bring them all down towards the Colorado River, which snaked at the bottom of the abyss. However, the peregrine falcon and the bald eagle did not yield. They now operated as a single organism, where the strength of one was the safety of the other. In a final joint effort, the bald eagle delivered a violent shove using its own body weight, while the peregrine falcon executed a blinding swoop before the invader's eyes. Unbalanced and breathless, the wandering giant finally spread its wings away from the center of the canyon, retreating to the northern highlands, leaving behind a sky it could not conquer.
Silence returned to the Grand Canyon, but it wasn't the same silence as before. It was a calmness laden with new meaning. The golden eagle disappeared on the horizon, a silhouette overcome by strategy and unity, while the bald eagle and the peregrine falcon landed at distinct points on the same rocky ridge. There was no noisy celebration, only the panting sound of lungs regaining their rhythm and the meticulous adjustment of feathers disheveled by combat. In that moment, the invisible border that divided their territories seemed to have dissipated. Mutual respect, forged in the heat of a battle where the lives of both depended on the competence of the other, transformed former rivals into guardians of a silent pact. They understood that true sovereignty lies not only in the ability to expel others, but in the intelligence to know when destiny demands that you fly side by side.
The dynamics of the canyon were permanently altered by this epic encounter. The peregrine falcon, with its unparalleled agility, and the bald eagle, with its unwavering strength, established a new balance of power that discourages future invasions. The nests, once vulnerable and isolated, now rely on the vigilance of two complementary defense systems. This unlikely alliance will serve as an eternal reminder to all creatures inhabiting the sandstone crevices. When danger is monumental, unity is the only path to survival. The story of these two giants ends not with an individual victory, but with the birth of an unbreakable bond, proving that even the deepest differences can be overcome when the goal is to protect what is most important.
If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe to the channel to help me bring you more stories. Activate the notification bell and comment with your thoughts, tips, and suggestions. Feel free to explore the channel's other content and immerse yourself in more fascinating journeys like this one, as there's always a new perspective to be discovered.